观众朋友，欢迎收看由新唐人推出的生活服务类节目《最佳方案》。提起意外伤害，可能很多人都会想起一个麦当劳的烫伤赔偿案。一个美国老人在麦当劳喝热饮时不慎被烫伤，经过意外伤害律师的帮助，一审法院判决麦当劳赔偿这位老人近270万美金。很多华人，特别是新移民，觉得这故事有点不可思议，因为他们对美国的法律并不了解。所以我们今天想让我们的华人观众来了解美国有关意外伤害的法律知识，来让我们了解，如果您在美国不幸遇到了意外伤害，该怎样保护自己的权益。本期的嘉宾是在美国有着40多年处理意外伤害案件的专业律师莱特律师。莱特律师告诉我们，意外伤害案件成立必须要有2个条件。首先是要有人受伤，通常是很严重的受伤或死于事故。第2个条件是别人的过错。
The first general category that we tend to see a lot, especially in the city of New York, are motor vehicle accidents, and typically involving pedestrians, meaning somebody is walking on the street and is hit by a car or a bus or a truck or sometimes a bicycle. And these tend to be very, very serious accidents, as you might expect, because people don't do well when they're struck by motor vehicles. They typically hurt very seriously. We also see cases where there are 2 cars or a truck and a car or a bus, something like that. Some of the other scenarios that you see are what we would call generally premises liability cases. What that means is that someone was injured or fell down in a building or on property, and it results from a defect in the property, either a hole in the street, a hole in the sidewalk, a stairway that is not properly maintained, an escalator, an elevator. We've seen some very serious fatal accidents involving elevators. People in the Chinese community have been killed or seriously injured. And that's another type of accident. There are other accidents that take place, for example, on construction sites or demolition sites. Chinese community people tend to work in somewhat dangerous locations, unfortunately. And if, for example, they fall from a scaffold or they're on a construction job and something falls and hits them on the head, these can result in terrible, terrible injuries and deaths.
其实意外伤害的类型很多，莱特律师只是介绍纽约华人最常见的案件类型，当然还有医疗事故甚至空难事故等等。总之，有关意外伤害的案件的2个关键要素我们还是要抓住。一个是受到伤害，第2个是由于他人过失造成的。那么，如果您发生了这样的事情，就要尽快找律师了。
The first is, in accident cases, it's very important that, and especially serious accident cases, that an investigation be conducted by that person's attorney as soon after the accident as possible. So, for example, if there is a situation where somebody is injured in a building, on premises, or has fallen down in a location, a parking lot, a sidewalk, something of that nature, it's very important that the conditions of that location be documented very soon after the accident, because things change. Someone may come in and intentionally change those conditions or make repairs because an accident has happened. Or conditions may change for other reasons. So it's very important to conduct an investigation. Second of all, it's a very traumatic situation for the person injured and for the family. And it's very important that they have somebody they can turn to answer all the different kinds of questions. who should they notify? Should they notify the insurance company? What if someone wants to take a statement from them? What if the insurance company wants to take a statement from them? What if some investigator they don't know wants to take a statement? These are all questions that can arise after a serious accident. Somebody may approach them and tell them that they will give them a quick settlement. Somebody may approach them that they don't even know and say that they have an attorney to recommend. It's very important that the injured person or the injured person's family in particular find someone that they can trust, whom they know is competent, who has experience, who can advise them what to do in that situation. The other thing is, in some of these situations where you have a public entity like the MTA or the City of New York or New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation, one of these types of entities, you have to give notice within a very short period of time of your claim, usually within 90 days. If it's a motor vehicle accident, you have to give notice to the no-fault insurance carrier within 30 days. So these are very, very short time limits. A client, a prospective client, should look for an attorney in a situation like this who really does only this. This is my personal opinion. If a client is looking for an injury attorney, they should find an attorney or a law firm that really does this as a full-time job. Not an attorney that does general practice, someone who does wills and estates and divorces and drunk driving cases. These are different types of cases because that's a person who is more likely to have had the experience necessary to handle a serious case for a family. Number two, the family or the injured person should find out if that attorney has a track record of success. In other words, if they're looking for an attorney, they should find someone who has gotten jury verdicts in personal injury cases, good jury verdicts, where their clients recovered substantial amounts of money in serious cases, or have had very good settlements for their clients. And this is a track record that should extend over a long period of time, not one or two things, but years of experience. Now, the third thing is a law firm that's going to represent them in this type of case needs to be a substantial firm if it's a significant, serious case, because the law firm itself is going to take on the responsibility to lay out the expenses of the case, which can be very substantial, can be hundreds of thousands of dollars in a serious case. So that law firm is going to lay out those expenses. The expenses will come back out of the award or the verdict, the judgment that they recover. But in the interim, the years it may take for this case to be won, the law firm may be expending lots of money on behalf of that client. So you want to find a firm that is substantial, who can do that. You don't want to be in a situation where 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or 2 years down the road, the attorney says, well, I don't have the money to go forward with your case. I'm very sorry. And this can happen. The ability to successfully bring your case to court and, if necessary, try the case in front of a jury and have a jury render a verdict in your client's favor is really where the true talent of the lawyer is shown. And it's extremely important that the client have an attorney who has the experience of trying many cases in court, winning many cases in court in front of juries.
莱特律师告诉我们，律师是否有庭审经验非常重要。如果对方发现您的律师庭审经验很丰富，他们就不敢拖延案件，因为他们知道拖到庭审呢，他们会更被动。因为一般情况下，庭审的赔偿都会比庭下的调解要高。另外，华人还很关注的一个问题呢，就是身份问题。游客或者是非法移民是否可以进行伤害案的诉讼？我们来看看莱特律师是怎么说的。
We have handled cases like this. People come here and they are knocked down in the street, or they fall down in a pothole or something of that nature. They have the same rights that any citizen of the United States would have, or any permanent resident of the United States would have, to sue in the courts here. So they should not be concerned about that in any way, shape, or form. They have the same rights as anyone else. The issue of people who are here and may not have proper documentation, or they have a visa that may have expired, or something of that nature, they also should not be particularly concerned, in the sense that they have the same right to sue for a personal injury or a wrongful death as anyone else does. And some of the courts have held that they cannot even be asked what their immigration status is. Courts in this country look very, very unfavorably with discriminating against people in these situations.
无论您是什么身份，只要您在美国的领土上受到伤害，就可以寻找一位专业的律师来维护您的权利。而且在打意外伤害案件时呢，您是不需要支付任何费用的，这是这个行业的特点。我们感谢莱特律师给我们带来的这些知识。我们下期节目再见。